Hey everybody, I'm Emeka, and in today's video I'm going to show you exactly which model makes the most money when you're self-publishing on Amazon. Low content, no content, fiction, or non-fiction. So let's dive into it. So the first thing we want to take a look at is going to be the overall cost of production. So the cost of producing a book on Amazon for low content fiction or nonfiction. Now, this is where we're going to see some of the biggest discrepancies is the actual startup costs. And unfortunately, this is what a lot of unexperienced publishers will look at when determining whether or not they should go into low content fiction or nonfiction. Or whether which avenue they should go into. So let's first take a look at the low content cost for covers. So cover designers for low content, you'll be looking anywhere from $0 if you do it yourself. Keep in mind, a lot of the people who speak about low content, they do a lot of the work themselves. So they might be paying nothing for covers, which is never a good idea because covers are the first thing that your readers are going to be looking at. So you want to make sure that you are giving them the absolute best first impression possible. So for $0 to $50 is what you can expect for low content covers. For fiction, you really got to step it up. Anywhere from $100 to $500 for a properly done fiction cover. Fiction covers are some of the most beautiful covers on the not just Amazon, but in the book space in general. So even spending above $500 is what some authors proudly will do. I'm taking the average of about $250 just for the purpose of this video, but I wanted to give you all a wide range of what the costs are from speaking with some of my students and other people here on YouTube. For nonfiction, you're looking anywhere from $100 to $300, usually around the $200 on average for most publishers. And yes, it is a little bit cheaper than fiction, but obviously it's quite a bit more than low content. Now, gone are the days, of course, that you could get away with spending $5 or $10 on a nonfiction cover. Of course, some people still do that. Those are also the people who do not make money. The most appealing thing to people doing low content is the fact that there's no startup cost. These people typically design the books themselves, or they pay next to nothing to have the adult coloring book or word search or whatever the case is designed for themselves, journal or whatever the case is designed for themselves. That is why most people like to get into that low content trap, as I call it, because it is a trap, as you'll see. Fiction, for a 50,000 word fiction short story, we could even call that, you're looking at about $1,645 US. Now, this is a quote that I got from the Urban Writers. You can take a look at the link in the description of this video to find out more information about them. But they're one of the premium writing services that focuses on both fiction and nonfiction. Now, for nonfiction, for about a 30,000 word book, which is a decently sized book for the nonfiction space, you're looking at about $987. So, right there, you can kind of see that fiction does cost significantly more to get started with than nonfiction, but there is good reason for that. Descriptions, $71 across the board. Description is not going to change based on what you're doing. Now, this is actually pretty cheap. Once again, this was from the Urban Writers that I got this quote from. This is on the lower side of the price for getting a description written. Now, keep in mind, most people who are doing low content, they're not going to bother paying somebody to write a description because they're trying to save costs at all angles. And that's rather unfortunate because the description is not just describing your book. A description has to be written in a certain way in order to not just describe your book, but sell your book to your reader. It's designed to whet their appetite. It's designed to tease them. It's designed to spark emotion. And you do this through the different parts of the description. And if you don't fully understand that, don't worry about it. I didn't understand that when I was new. But this is why it pays to pay $71 to get your description written by professionals. And once again, that's on the cheaper side of things. You can definitely spend a lot more to have a copywriting professional write your description. But I would only advise that once you know your book is selling. So total startup costs $121 for low content, $19.66 for fiction, and then $12.58 for nonfiction. So you can see there's quite the difference in range there, especially if we take out the low content, or we take a look at low content compared to fiction, nonfiction there. It's substantial. This is why so many people think low content is the thing to do. And it's really not. It's an absolutely garbage business model. And you'll see why as we progress through this video. In terms of fiction and nonfiction, that's pretty average. Spending around $1,200 to $1,300 for a nonfiction book and around $2,000 for a fiction book, pretty average there. So let's take a look at royalty earned. Now, there are going to be a couple caveats here. Mainly, that's going to resolve around what I'm going to show you with the fiction royalties. So the retail price point for these books, low content, $7.99, $8. So around the average price of a low content book. So $8. Now fiction, I put the ebook at $4.99, and then the fiction book, it's a little lower than what it might be in today's market, $12.99. Now you got to remember, fiction also, the majority of income is going to come from KENP, the pages read with KDP. That's impossible to show across the board because it's just irrelevant for nonfiction and low content. So I just had to do this as fair as possible, and that's why we're using book sales versus pages read. So just keep that in mind, and I'll remind you as we show some of the numbers going through here. Fiction, or nonfiction rather, same, $4.99 to $19.99. You definitely, I'm not sure if you're aware, but you definitely do not want to be pricing your books at $2.99. That's just an absolutely horrible pricing model to be pricing your nonfiction or even your fiction books, your ebooks for that matter, at $2.99. You definitely, for various reasons, don't want to be pricing your books that low anymore. Okay, so the paperback per book sale, what you're going to be earning is $2.64 off a low content book. Okay, so not exciting, but $4.69 off a fiction book sale and $9.70 off a nonfiction book sale. So keep in mind, this is with a $19.99 price point and a $12.99 price point and an $8 price point for those three models there. Okay. Ebook sales, well, low content, no ebook sales. And that's for obvious reasons. I don't think I have to explain that. Fiction, looking at about $3.49, priced at $4.99. Once again, this does not include pages read, as that would kind of be a completely separate revenue stream. And then $3.49, obviously same price if you're pricing your ebook at $4.99 for nonfiction. So let's go with 500 books a month sold. So this is total 500 books a month sold, which is, it's not great, it's not bad. It's just about what, a decent book should be doing a month. So if you don't have a book that's doing 500 sales a month, that might be, a good thing. Hey, what am I doing wrong? Can I get some help somewhere? Little indicator, if you have books that are doing more than 500 books a month right now, units a month, then hey, you're doing good. Thumbs up to you. 2 thumbs up to you. Okay, so low content. So your book would be making about $1,320. Okay, and for fiction, you're going to be looking at, now for fiction, what I did 400 ebook sales, 100 paperback sales, because ebook sales are obviously going to be higher with fiction versus nonfiction. It's going to be flipped. So 400 ebook sales is going to be $1,396. 100 paperback would be $496. So combined to 500 book sales, at a combined income of $1,892. Now for nonfiction, I flipped it, right? We did 100 ebook sales at $349 and then 400 paperback sales at $3,229. So combined income would be $4,229. So significantly more than low content for obvious reasons. Now, keep in mind, once again, with fiction, we're not taking into account pages read. The reason is pages read, if you look down at the bottom of the screen here, for January of 2022, the U.S. rate was 0.0042885952 cents per page read with your fiction books. Because fiction books, typically, they are part of Kindle Unlimited, so they get the book for free, and you're paid every time a customer flips a page. You're paid that amount per page. So you really have to have millions and millions and millions of pages read in order to make a significant profit, which sounds like a lot, but it's not, because that's how fiction readers read their books. But for keeping everything simple here, we're just not including that for this exercise. So now let's look at the actual profits and margins for these three, okay? So total cost for low content, right, we know is $121. Total revenue at 500 books a month was $13.20. The total profit gave us $1,199. So that gives us a profit. Okay, we're going to get to the profit margin in a second. Okay, total cost for fiction, $19.66. Okay, revenue at 500 books a month sold, not including pages read, $18.92. So that gives us a profit of negative $72. You see why pages read plays such an important role here. By no means am I discounting fiction. You can make money with fiction. Just for the simplicics of this video, we're not including pages read, which is where the majority of the money is made, just because it would skew everything else and throw everything out of whack. And I honestly couldn't figure it all out. Okay, so total cost for nonfiction, $12.58, $42.29 with revenue earned, profits $29.71. Okay. Now, the profit margin for low content, 90%. So there's a 90% profit margin when you're publishing with low content books. Awesome. Absolutely incredible. Fiction, for this example, it ended up being negative 3.9%. Okay. And then nonfiction, 70.25. Right? Now, what affects your profits? Okay, what affects your profits? The first thing that can decrease your profit margin is spending too much on ads. Overspending on ads can absolutely eat away at all your profits. I've seen this happen before. So you always want to make sure your ads are under control. Marketing and promotion, right? Marketing and promotion. No, that's not ads. That's ad spend and marketing and promotion are very different. Marketing and promotion are what you're doing. How are you actually promoting your book, right? You're giving away free copies. You're giving away review copies. You're sending it into to news stations, to radio stations. You're sending it into influencers, right? Actual marketing and promotion, not ad spend. So that decreases your profit margin. Printing costs. Printing costs are going to change depending on the niche you're in. If your book is black and white, is it color? Is it heavy on illustrations, light on illustrations? What type of paper are you having it printed on? These are going to affect your printing costs, which will affect your profit margin. I've published books that were heavy in color, and they completely outsold like almost like 10 to 1, so to speak, my books that were black and white. Yet my black and white books were paying me significantly more. It was like 20 or 30 to 1. Same book, just a black and white version versus a color version. And I'd sell 500 copies of the colored version, and like, say maybe 100 or so copies of the black and white version. The black and white version, though, because the profit was so much higher on it, I got paid more than I did on the color version of it. But there was a reason I sold both. Okay. And yeah, that's a whole other side thing. All right. Things that increase your profit margin. Increasing your price. You can always just bump up your price, right? Instead of selling your book at $19.99, sell it at $24.99. Boom. Instant increase in profits. Okay. Adding formats. So, right, we didn't even include audiobooks on here. We didn't include hardbacks on here. We didn't include, right, the other formats that you can use. So we didn't include that, but that would all increase your profit margins, right? Selling additional products, right? Sell something else to your customers. And increasing ad spend. What? Why do I got it on both? Well, you can increase your ad spend to increase your profit margin if you do something else. And this is where most people don't understand things. Look, the best way to increase your profit margin is sell something else to your customers, period. Right? Once they buy something from you, it's very, very easy to sell them something else. You just have to understand who your customer is and what do they want to buy from you. Create a course or pay somebody to create it for you. I want you to take a look at this. If we get a Fiverr, right? We get a Fiverr, okay? Fiverr, you can get anything done for $5, right? If I click course creation, okay, I'm going to have all of these people on here who will create, and let's try to go by best selling, who will create a course for you on whatever topic you want. Some of them focus on, specific topics, but, I'll build an online course creation for you. All right. Right. And they will create a whole course for you. Some of them, depending on what you're looking for, right? 10 chapters, 750 words included per chapter, 10 assignments, video script writing, and everything. Like, they'll do everything, right? And you don't have to spend $550. I would. It makes sense to do that. But you can find some cheaper ones on here as well, right? Here's one. Create online course creation, right? Course workbook, right? You see, right? So you create a course, and now you sell that. So you create a course, and now you sell that to your customers. And the course is basically, it's your book, but in video format. You don't have to try anything new or anything like that. You take your book on training your dog, right? Take your book on how to train your dog, and then you create a video course that goes along with it. And it shows them how to train their dog, but in a video course. And why do people buy that? Because people buy things all the time that makes their life easier or gets them the results faster. And that's what a video course will do for you. It helps your customers get the results that they want faster and easier. That's why people buy courses. Okay, so they bought your book. They like your book because you did it correctly. And you're like, hey, I have this course. It's going to help you even get results even faster with your puppy training. Boom. Okay, now what do? You increase your ad spend. So now you increase your ad spend to the point you're actually losing money with your ads up front. And that's a very good thing because it allows you to buy the top spot on Amazon, right? You see how people get to the top on Amazon, the top page rank? Sometimes they're just losing money and they're just paying to stay there because they don't care how much money they're spending on ads because they're making it up on the back end. And this is where so many publishers don't think about it, right? Who cares if your ACoS is 200%? if you're selling a course in the back end for $500, well, that $500 is easily compensating for you spending way too much on ads, but it's keeping your book at the very top of the page all the time, and nobody else wants to compete with that because everyone else is only selling a book. Right? You sell a course for $9.90, for $97, $197, $997. You're literally laughing all the way to the bank. Okay? Look, if 1% of people bought your program for $197, that's an extra $985 in pure profit every single month. If only 1% of people, of the 500 people, bought your program, right? At $397, it's an extra $2,000 almost. Sell a $1,000 program, right? Extra $5,000 in profit by just having 1% of people buy your program. So this is where, when you start selling something on the back end, and yes, there's additional steps and everything, which, I can show you how to do. It's not very challenging. But this is how people make the real money on Amazon. It's not by just selling them the freaking book. It's by selling them book, but then selling something at a much bigger cost to them after the book. And this is where the money's made. You can't do this with low content. You can't, right? You're just peddling garbage all the time, right? Just hoping to make a couple bucks, right? Couple bucks off my low content crap. You can't do that. Now, fiction, I don't know, you create a course on how to make love to a werewolf, right? Dressed as a vampire or whatever weird fiction stories going on there, right? But it's a completely different model with fiction. So don't get me wrong. Don't disrespect the fiction publishers or authors. You're not selling information or how to fix a problem. You're selling a story and entertainment, right? So you're not going to be looking at selling a course. But for nonfiction, if you are not thinking about, hey, how do I sell a course, or how do I sell something to my customers who have already bought my book, who like my book, right? They're leaving reviews, they like my book. How do I sell something else to them? You're screwing it up. You're missing the boat. You don't know what you're doing. Let me help you. This is where people make money. It's not by just selling the book on Amazon. It's by creating something on the back end and selling it to the customer who bought the damn book, right? The $3-4 ebook, it's the price of admission to sell them something even bigger. And so I really wanted just to make this video to kind of hammer down this point to you that if you're not seeing this, if you're not thinking about this, you're an idiot. Like you need to be taking this into consideration. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry if I offend you, but I want you to make money. In 2022, if you're just selling a book on Amazon and that's it, and you're not collecting an email address, and you're not thinking, what else can I be selling to my customer? You're an idiot. You shouldn't be selling anything on Amazon. Plain and simple. So let me help you not be an idiot. And let me show you how to do this. Now, nonfiction publishing is the best way to make money on Amazon. It gives you an unfair advantage over low content and fiction publishing, right? By selling something to your readers in the back end, you can make more money to acquire your customers on Amazon. You're buying your way to the top of the page rank. Everybody's always bloody concerned about, how do I get my BSR? Why it's my books are not on the first page. Just buy your way to the first page. Why do it organically? Just buy your way to the first page. It's much easier. Just buy your way. Right? Just buy your way. Sell them something that covers the cost of your ads, spend more money on ads, and buy your way to the front of the line. Right? Waiting in line is for chumps. Don't be a chump. Look, you want to learn how to do this? This is what I'm going through. This is what we're talking about in my self-publishing blueprint. Check out the website. There's a link. I'll put it in the description. If you want to hear of how this has worked for our students, you're going to hear boatloads of student examples. My self-publishing blueprint.com/student-results. And you can check it out for yourself. But I want to help you rock in 2022. I want to help you rock in 2022. Don't be a chump. Don't be an idiot. Don't just sell books on Amazon. Let's do a lot more than that. All right, everybody, I'm out.